Welcome to the Real CP Show. I'm your host, CP. And today's topic Ukraine reparations to date amount from U.S., but reparations for American blacks? Well, again, today's topic is Ukraine reparations to date amount from U.S., but reparations for American blacks? Well, this is what supremacists do on a daily basis. When they look upon the numbers of American blacks, with few exceptions, and tell each other, we did not know it still would be this easy to just tell them so many different nonsensical things, and quite a number of them is still believing it. While they are the most hated group, because we make sure of it, they are the most hated group with the most laws and policies that we supremacists have put upon them for centuries. They are the most hated group, the most hated group with the most laws and policies, the most hated group with all those things, and you throw in the number one culture that has got no reparations for the destruction that we continue to keep causing the overall nerve people. This is what supremacists doing on that. This is what they do every day because they know, right? And especially with the 2024 elections coming next year, and they always have their agendas going on, but they understand that they have got to get a little bit more quicker on their agendas. So they got their little light bulbs on and making sure they say, okay, we got to start putting this a little bit quicker. What we continue to want to do on that because they know. Yes, they know it's coming soon. Unfortunately, there are millions of American blacks overall, with few exceptions, that do not realize what's coming soon. Which I say, and I stand by what I say on this, is that unfortunately, because it's too many internal problems, and then you have numbers of American blacks, unfortunately, with few exceptions, that continue to keep trying to allow themselves or continue to allow themselves to be put within a people of color and minority nonsensical switchery category. While you got numbers of border breakers, illegal immigration personnel popping across that border left and right each and every day, you got the number one country basically that allows the most immigration personnel is to sit there the United States or the controllers. While the number one most hated group in American blacks can't even get no reparations, right? Which goes into this particular topic about the Ukraine reparations to date amount from U.S., but reparations for American blacks. Well, let me sit there and show you something. Look at this. This is a webinar, Reparations for Black Americans. Whether, why, and how, April 27, 2020. Look at this webinar, Reparations for Black Americans. Whether, why, and how, April 27, 2020. And again, this is what supremacists are doing when they see stuff like this. Because they said numbers of American blacks do not realize the gullibility that they have with few exceptions. Doing this every day, right? They do this every day. Let me sit there and show you something else before we get into the part about the aid as of today, right? On that. Now keep this in mind. Now remember that American blacks are supposed to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, supposed to put their own sailboats on, put their own anchors up. They're supposed to do all this other stuff, have the most atrocious treatment of a culture of no comparison ever in this U.S. over generations and get no reparations. Keep that in mind.
Institutions have begun to grapple with the idea. As of August 12th, 142 Congress members have co-sponsored H.R. 40, the bill that establishes a commission to study reparations. That is compared to only two in 2014. Even Joe Biden has said he supports the bill. But a real program could be costly.
This hardly seems the time to burden the economy with more debt and more taxes. Essentially, what you want to do is stimulate economic growth for all our benefit. This is not small money.
Mm, 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 mm. Again, the most hated group of all times in this country is American blacks and can't get no reparations. And the nerve of some people who break immigration laws every darn day, overstay their visas, the ones that stay every darn day, not even legal citizens have the audacity to open their mouths up and think they should have the same rights as citizens in the U.S. and especially American blacks, who's been in this country more than 95 to 99% of the cultures that even exist in this country. Ain't that insulting? And the thing I just then showed you about that knucklehead piece of crap person talking about, oh man, reparations for black folks, right? Well, I tell you, so because there are quite a number of personnel within the Paname's culture who do this, right? Not talking about the good ones, but this is what they do a lot of times. You start talking about reparations, right? Give me 1 second. This is what they be doing. This is what they be doing. Give me 1 second. This is what they be doing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I know nothing. Or especially to the Negro blacks. Because they always got their hand out of always talking about reparations. I didn't know. Oh, I didn't owe no slaves. I didn't do anything with that. But at the same time, how many of them can sit there and get accosted if we go into a jewelry store? How many of them get accosted from going to a predominantly uh, based culture in some suburban neighborhood, and they could be the poorest of the poorest? Person with a predominant based culture, do they get looked at and accosted for going to certain neighborhoods? Of course not, right? They get housing discrimination, racial discrimination, racial profiling? Of course not. But again, this is what they do. And then if you say, did you have anything to do with the removal of what we supposed to keep calling Native Americans? Did you have anything to do with them? Right? Get it removed from their land. And the poster child related to the removal is the Trail of Tears that was around 1820, 1830 time frame, which is around about 200 something years ago. So personnel within the Padambe's culture, the ones who know they are, they got this wicked mentality of thinking, I ain't got anything to do with slavery. Did you have anything to do with removing Native American people? How about the other cultures that go across that border left and right, border breaking, overstay their visas, coming to the United States, running from the country that people that look like them because they're trying to get away from corruption, uh, people that treating them wrong who looks like them. Did you have anything to do with sitting there removing what we call Native Americans? Of course not. Matter of fact, millions of immigration persons don't even know crap about American black history or the U.S. history in the first place. Right? Watch this.
I don't believe in segregation. I believe in slavery.
Let's play that one more time.
I don't believe in segregation. I believe in slavery.
Mm, 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 mm.
Last year we sat in. What did we get? We crawled in. What did we get? We even marched in. And what did we get? So 1964 threatens to be a very explosive year. A firebomb was tossed into the home of Malcolm X here in New York City early this morning. I wanted you to know that my house was bombed. Are you inferring then that because of this conspiracy, the attempt was made upon your life? The attempt was made upon my life because I speak my mind and I know too much, and they know that I will speak it whether they like it or not.
Mm, mm, See, this system can't stand definitely a strong African American black male, right? They couldn't stand him, and they can't stand even present day any type of piece of American black male that has backbones to sit there and stand by what they say, right? Regardless, right? They're gonna be perfect about what they say, but they like meek-minded numbers of American black people in general, but especially black males. So they love this kind of stuff. Oh, they love American black males that do this, right? Could you ask somebody like this? Hey, what about reparations? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't worry about stuff like that. I don't worry about stuff like that. But watch this. Every day, this is what's happening across the border. And they getting reparations. How many of them are going to sit there and get free taxpayer money? The ones may not necessarily these particular ones. Who cares? The other day they was talking about how there was some group of immigration personnel, what pseudo border breakers, pseudo that went from one place that was flown, I think, what Florida, California, whatever it is, on a private jet. That's taxpayers' money. How many personnel have gotten on buses and taken different places and stuff like that by their sponsors? Right? That's reparations. This is what supremacists doing every day because they know numbers of American blacks still don't get the concept here. American blacks, the ones who talk about reparations, you got people saying, "Oh, they need to stop talking about reparations." And there are especially certain ones within the Panamanian culture because they be like, "Look, I may belong to this particular culture, but I didn't sit there and do anything about that, and it's not. It's not. Oh, I'm like getting away from that nonsense term, switcher deflecting terminology, right? Because as I said, and asked this question before, well, the question goes to numbers of personnel within various parts of the Padang-based culture. Did that person have anything to do themselves personally with removing what we call Native Americans? Nope. Did they have anything to do with sitting there themselves, was sitting there causing uh, various uh, colonizing of other countries, conquering other countries, causing upheaval in democratic countries? Did did they have anything to do with that themselves personally? They said, of course not, right? But what happens to different down the countries? Reparations in some kind of way, and they get quiet on that, right? Because they know you got them. So getting to this, let me read you something here. How much aid has the U.S. sent Ukraine? This is from May the 19th, 2023. Every year, the United States sends billions of dollars in aid and much more than any other country to beneficiaries around the world in pursuit of its security, economic, and humanitarian interests. Heading to 2022, the U.S. foreign assistance was driven by various priorities of the Biden administration, including combating climate change, responding to the C-19 pandemic, and counting authoritism. But since Russia's invasion in February of that year, Ukraine has become far and away the top recipient of U.S. foreign aid. It's the first time that a European country has held the top spot since Harry S. Truman administration directed vast sums into rebuilding the continent through the Marshall Plan after World War II. Reparations to helping countries rebuild after World War II. But American blacks in World War II were still in formal segregation. Continuing, since the war began, the Biden administration and other personnel have directed more than 75 billion in assistance to Ukraine. Let me put this again. Since the war began, which is February 2022, the Biden administration and in various parts of the U.S., based on other personnel, have directed more than 75 billion in assistance to Ukraine, which includes humanitarian, financial, military support, right? The historical sums are helping a broad set of Ukrainian people, institutions, including refugees, law enforcement, and independent radio broadcasters. This is what supremacists is doing. The American blacks can't get no reparations. And again, I want to do this as a timepiece purpose. Because again, when Ukraine continues to get double digit, triple digit millions of dollars and billions of dollars, what are the numbers of American blacks going to sit there and say to the people who know they are to say, hey, what about the American blacks? What about the American blacks? Now, again, I know sellouts and gullible ones. Unfortunately, I'm not talking about them right now. I'm just saying, regardless of reparations for American blacks, they can sit there, according to this, 75 billion as of today, which is April of 2000. Excuse me, which is June of 2023. And the war started, I think, February of 2022, which is less than a year and a half ago. And they've already received in some kind of way of reparations 70, at least 75 billion. What an insult. But American blacks can't get reparations. This is why I say again, American blacks overall have half a generation to one generation left before the overall complete destruction of the American black culture. Thank you for tuning in to the Real CP Show.